Hi, Anthony Vanderwood here with another Actifio Tech Tip. This week I got asked, hey, what's the future of the Actifio Desktop? When I go to version 10C, will I still need the Actifio Desktop? Short answer, no you won't. Let me explain. So first up, let's have a little history lesson. If you've been using Actifio for a while, you'll be familiar with the process of using this thing called the Actifio Desktop. So you would traditionally have pointed your web browser at the IP address of your appliance. In this case, I've hit an appliance called 1644. You would have downloaded the Adobe Air Player from the Adobe website, and then you would have downloaded the Actifio Desktop Air file, and then you would have run the Actifio Desktop Air file after running an installer, and here you are. This is your Actifio Desktop, and this is what you would have used to manage your Actifio appliance. So, in our 10C release, the first thing you're going to notice is that the download link isn't there anymore. And it's not there anymore because you don't need it. Now, if you said to me, hey, Anthony, I desperately need it for some reason, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's actually still there. If you just type actifio.air after the URL, hit enter on that, and it will download it. You can see it's downloading it down there. Having shown you how to do it, I'm now telling you, don't do it. You don't need to use it. What you need to do is start using Actifio Global Manager. So Actifio Global Manager is the interface that you're going to do all your management through, regardless of what function it is. So then the question becomes, okay, does that mean that every single thing that was in the Actifio Desktop is now in Actifio Global Manager? The answer is not quite, but the stuff that we haven't yet put into Actifio Global Manager, you can access through AGM, through a function, which I'm going to show you now. So if you're running a 9 version of AGM, you'll be familiar with the Domain Manager over on the left-hand side. So you open Domain Manager, then along the top you can see you've got an appliances list. Right select on an appliance and you'll get an option called Configure Appliance. If you're running AGM version 10, instead we're going to go here to Manage and Appliances, and we're going to get a very similar list. And again, right select on an appliance and manage an appliance, or in this case, configure an appliance. In either case, what it's going to do is it's going to log into the appliance you've selected using the same user ID and password that you logged into Actifio Global Manager with, and it's going to log directly into the appliance itself. So what you're going to see is that this is resolved to 1.180. We're using self-signed certificates, so we get this annoying message here. Once we get past that, what it's going to do is log me directly into the appliance and allow me to manage those functions that are not quite in AGM, but we need to still do using what looks a bit like an Actifio desktop interface, but in fact is not. So the functions that we're going to use this appliance setup panel for, this configure appliance setup, is very limited. And in fact, what you're seeing here is pretty well all we would do here, which is manage storage pools, manage connectors. There are a few other things like dedupe settings and appliance settings that you very rarely go to, manage licenses, and probably the key one here from my perspective is manage logs, where you can go and download the logs directly from an appliance. So, in other words, we're going to do pretty well everything out of Actifio Global Manager. The only thing that we're not going to do out of Actifio Global Manager, we're going to do a couple of configure appliance behaviors, which are those ones that I've just listed out to you. Now, one interesting point, if you don't have AGM or AGM is not running at the moment, if you look very carefully at that URL, you'll notice that it's the IP address of the appliance and then /appliance setup. So what you can do is you can cheat here. And without AGM, literally hit that URL directly. Now, one thing I said to you is that if you go via AGM, it takes your AGM login credentials and applies them to the appliance. If that user and password works, you're immediately logged in. In my case, because I've gone directly to it, I don't have the AGM credentials, so I have to log in directly to actually get my login working. And then I can start using what is really the Actifio Desktop, what is the appliance configuration tool that's built into the appliance that's going to allow me to no longer use this old classic Actifio Desktop application, which is now totally dead. All right, hopefully that was useful to you. Thanks for listening.